calypso spiritual to free the people from the mental chain. Rise them up from out of the gutter. Rise them up out of poverty.
Rise them up.
Please don't let them suffer.
Rise them up.
Set my people free. Rise them up from humiliation.
Rise them up.
Hunger and frustration.
Rise them up.
Mr. Calypsonian,
Rise them up.
it's your obligation. You know the good seed you sow and for that soil will be growing as green as grass. Cause every word that the prophet had prophesied, it shall surely come to pass. Cause if you walk up and sweat in my vineyard, by your sweat you shall eat your bread. And once you satisfy all the criteria, we go put a crown on your head. For the same song again, a spiritual song again, the same song again, a lyrical song again, a singing the same song again, a melodious song again, the same song again, a calypso. Yeah, 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 yeah. Never forget where you come from. Don't think you're better than no one. I'm giving you the same kind of advice again. Remember you're poor and you're needy, but don't ever try to be greedy. Greed does bring on misfortune and pain. Just rise them up from total destruction,
Rise them up.
from illiteracy.
Rise them up.
Join some kind of program.
Rise
Go
them
to
up.
university.
Rise them
You
up.
offers you a master's or a bachelor's
Rise
and
them up.
associate degree.
Rise them up.
Discover your talent, there must
Rise
be
them
some
up.
hidden ability. You see the preparation you make today will go a long, long way tomorrow. The little education you grab, I pray, will help to wipe away your sorrow. Cause when you're preparing for a rainy day, let me while the sun still shine. Because according to the work you must get your pay, you could never take what is mine. It's the same song again, spiritual song again, the same song again, a lyrical song again, I singing the same song again, melodious song again, the same song again, a calypso song again. When I listen to your advice, I realize I have no choice but to sing the same kind of song again. I cannot compare myself with Christ, but I'm willing to make a sacrifice to see my people rise up from the drain. Let we rise them up from contamination,
Rise them up.
from pornography,
Rise them up.
from internet addiction
Rise
and
them up.
homosexuality.
Rise
That's why
them
I'm
up.
calling on all the world leaders,
Rise
those in
them up.
religious authority.
Rise them up.
Please try and do something
Rise
for the
them up.
good of humanity. Cause if you cast your bread on the water, might return after many days. And if you want your life to be better, just do what the Father say. But if you keep on the wrong direction, like a sheep that is gone astray, well, our portion is gonna be bitter when the clock strikes judgment day. This is the same song again, a spiritual song again, same song again, a lyrical song again. It's the same song again, a redemption song again, the same song again, a calypso song again. Yeah, redemption song. Jamo, Junior, Maury, and Calgary, Mr. Killer and Kirani, Shama Wells, Lil Swift, Timothy and Twine, and Kidisha, just to name a few. Whether or not you like Dr. Keith Mitchell, he made a great contribution too. So we have to pay tribute to the local heroes we have right here. Give them the honor they deserve before they disappear. Try to do it in advance if you don't want no guilt on your conscience. After they're dead and gone, what you do as they have no importance. So give me now instead cocoa, fish cake and bread. Give me flowers before I dead. Don't wait till I gone. You say I was nice like Father Ed. Just give me flowers before I dead.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'm here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
Before I dead.
I do hope all of you have had an exceptionally wonderful day today.
No. Will you feed me now?
Yeah, I know many folks are still getting over the carnival season. Many folks are still getting over the carnival, yeah.
Finish my little mission here and my father tell me come home.
To those of you who have been visiting Grenada, we just want to, yeah, all you realize the video, yeah. We stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and solve the problem. Yeah, so it ain't going to be happening again. I promise you it would not be happening again. Yeah, so yes, those of you who are on the island, and Nurse Wendy and Maguire, I hope you're having a wonderful night tonight, my dear. And I hope you're not listening hard. Talking Points. And at least say hard talking. Talking Points. I hope you're outside somewhere, yeah, at some restaurant, you and your son having a nice dinner and so on. Yeah, nice, yeah. Not sit down home listening. If you sit down home, had to be with a bucket of mango or some kind. You can't just be home tonight, yeah. So for all of you who are visiting, just remember, head to the bus terminal, check Miss Kiami. She has the cocoa. Kiami! Kiami! Nice, yeah. She has the cocoa and so on. You can check her and get your lovely cocoa. Remember, you're going back up. Those of you, especially in Canada, you know, in a few weeks' time, what's starting to happen. And so, in fact, for many of you, you know what is going on already. Yeah, yeah. The thing is not in a few weeks' time. For some of you all, it is already going on right now. Yeah, you all already getting that kind of weather. We say a special good night to all of you joining us via We Noise Radio. And all of you joining us as well via One Soca. Buddy! Oh yeah, but I have to be careful how loud I speak with, yeah, I have to be careful.
Never forget where you come from. Don't think you're better than no one.
Now this happen when you're going to borrow people thing, yeah. When you
Remember,
see what donkey know about toothpaste, yeah. We shall learn know about this mic.
pretty, greed does bring on misfortune and pain. Just rise them up from total destruction.
Rise them up.
From illiteracy
Yeah, I've been seeing some stories today, man. Man.
to university. When she offers you a master's.
And we say a special good night to those of you joining us via the YouTube and those of you joining us via the Facebook. Yeah, I hope you all have been having a wonderful day thus far.
See the preparation you make today will go a long way tomorrow. The little education you grab, I pray, will help to wipe away your sorrow. Cause when you're preparing for a rainy day, let me while the sun still shine. Because according to the work you must get your pay. You could never take what is mine. It's the same song again.
I think something up with Facebook, man. I ain't believe what I see in there. Yeah.
Song again.
I could never be what I think I see in there, seen on Facebook. No.
Song again. Melodious song again. The same song again. A calypso song again.
Let me say a good night to you, Meryl George. Yeah, Meryl, good night to you. John Mark, Agatha Debelay. Yvonne Courtney, good night to you. Olive McEwen, Wallen Aquat. Valma McIntosh, Joan Henry, good night to you. Glenda Robinson Smith, good night to you. Shirley Lacrette, Cynthia B. Wendy and Maguire, I calling your name and saying I hope you're out to dinner and all kind of thing and you're there watching Talking Points. Well, you better have some mango, a bowl of mango. Don't overdo it though, the sugar. Yeah, I know you ain't had that, but you know, you have to be careful. Maureen Samuel, good night to you. Errol Bonaparte. Yeah, good night to all of you that I'm seeing there under the live. Nice, beautiful, yeah. Hope that you all having a wonderful night tonight. And a good night to our good friends here under the YouTube. I see Vanessa Lalji. I see you, Claude Abraham, Alban Harris, Agnes Henry, Phyllis Mitchell, Jenny Samuel, Kathleen Ledlow, Francis George, Hillary Joseph, Ruth Thomas. Good night to you. Faithlyn Hallie Douglas. I see you there. Sky Fitzroy Philip, Joyce Henry, Leroy Dominic, good night to you. Dalton Sean, Roslyn Jones, Gavin Thomas, good night to you, Gavin. Patsy Frank, Cecile Bernard, Errol Bonaparte, Jefferson Hagley, good night. Yeah, Fadu, good night to you, bro. Velma Pascal, and I see here Clive Raymond. Clive, good night, bro. Cindy Thomas, Anna Lewis, good night, Anna Lewis. And Jackie Raymond, Norma Felix, Red Girl Pascal. You're jumping up down there, Red Girl Pascal. I see you. Amanda Moses, good night to you, Amanda. Rodney Barry, Gillian Williams, Stephanie John, good night to you, and Tati, the entire home circle there. Bernadette Joseph, good night to you. Vaughn Wellington, good night. And hey, brother Adrian Watts, good night to you, and thank you so very much, my brother. Yes. He has donated what? Yeah, he make a donation towards the Friday program. Although I did mention we're not doing the Friday program this week. We will be doing a Friday program next week, God's willing. This week we won't be doing a Friday program. Jakeem Williams, been a while, bro, been a while. Vaughn Wellington, Christine Otley, Desiree Joseph, Agatha Williams, Cynthia Bartholomew, good night to you. Wait, now, did I say good night to the lovely Mrs. Watts? Go along. Yeah, good night to you, Mrs. Watts. We hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Yeah, Oswald Belfon. Yeah, bless up to you, bro, as well. Veronica Alexander, Jesse Sherry. Jesse, what's up? Yeah, assalam. Good night to you, bro. Edmund Callis, Jerome Lewis, Jocelyn Matteson, Lona Jollison, Chris London, Kathleen Knight. Good night to all of you under the various mediums who are here tonight. Yeah, good.
Things that he said, I had to wonder if it's the same person they was talking about. I don't want no happy hour, no light candles on the head. No, give me flowers before I dead. No crocodile.
Yeah, so I think everything should be, pretty much like in Studio One right now, yeah.
I said to give me flowers before I dead.
And I think I've changed around everything inside here. I didn't like how last night's setting was, so I changed around things and I fixed up things. Last night was a temporary setting, but yeah. Let me say good night to the geezer. How you doing, bro? Yeah, I've got enough respect for my English listeners, those of you listening in the UK. The mere fact that you have to stay up, what is the time in the UK now? I always had the time in the UK on this phone for obvious reasons. It's now 1:15 in the UK and they stay up to listen to Talking Points and then go to bed, yeah? So we'd like to say a special good night to you, the geezer. My good friends in Barbados, good night to you. The St. Lucian posse, good night. Yeah, my good friend down there in Chozelle. The listeners out there in Laborie. Whether you're in Riverton, Bonte, Badiraj. We say good night to the Lucians tonight. Good night to my good listeners in Dominica. They've said that we always leave them out. So Dominica, St. Kitts, Antigua, Anguilla, good night to all of you. And those of you in the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao.
Give me flowers before I dead. Don't wait till I gone. You say I was nice like Father Ed.
So I do hope all of you are having a fabulous night. All listeners over there in Canada, Patricia and Matthew.
Before I dead.
Fat Man George. Our good brother Ian. Yeah, what chat? I think I done shouting out people and think we have to get into some business and thing right now. Folks, the situation continues in Cloget, where the people of Cloget are still, during the period between when we did the last program and now, the situation has not improved. the people of Clogier are still going through the situation that they've been going through. In fact, you've had the road collapsing multiple times. Well, if you want to call it a road, but the track that they they had to pass through. And so I'm waiting for some of the latest pictures, because the thing is, sometimes we pick up issues and we may tend to leave the issue alone. And that is what the other side loves. They believe that everybody has a 3-day memory, so that nobody would remember Clogier by the time Carnival is over. So Carnival come. So the people at Clogier catching the tail long before Carnival. And now Carnival come, and I'm pretty sure little to no work took place during that period of time. And then Carnival is finished now. I could ask them the question, has a report been done? Did they do the geological study? Did they check the soil consistency and do all the chemical analysis and geological analysis that they are supposed to do to ensure that Clogier is an area that they can do a project in a particular way? And while we say Clogier, the road is not directly in Clogier, it's before Clogier. There's a different name for that area, from what I've heard. But we know it is affecting the residents of Clogier. And not just them, but other people that usually used to utilize that route. Sales vans, all different things that utilize that route as the shortcut to get to the eastern side of the island. It is affecting them and will continue to affect them. It has gotten to the stage that the government ought to be looking at alternative route to get the residents of Clogier in and out. As it is right now, there are farmers who are having problems in accessing their lands. They basically have to go right around to access their lands and so on. So it's a problem for them. There is no talk about any sort of assistance to those farmers. And that's one thing. Under the new National Party, anytime you had these kind of situations taking place, anytime you had these sort of situations taking place, the NNP administration would always step in. Yeah? And I'm not talking about just fix the government would do what has to be done with the road and that sort of thing. But you would look at the other social impacts and economic impacts that are taking place. So the farmers who are adversely affected and may not get their produce to market or have to go through additional costs to get their produce to market, is anything being done for them? Because since the last meeting with the Prime Minister going up, from what we have heard, up to now, the MP disappear. Yeah? The last thing we hear. Let me see what is that there? Yeah, I'm not seeing what they're telling me there. Yeah, anyhow. Yeah. The MP has disappeared. Where the MP? Where is the MP? All of a sudden, the MP ain't bothering with the people in Clogier. I asked the people in Clogier if they seen the MP. Is she braving the conditions that they have to walk through on a daily basis, risking their lives to get to and from, to go to work and to get home? She isn't bothered by what they are going through. Where's the MP? Ask the people of Clogier. Don't take my word for it. Ask them. And you'd recognize what is really taking place there. And look, a person from Clogier messaged me one time. They said, no MP. Only Mr. Dabrio to see come in and bring relief to some of the people up there. Some of the elderly, bringing up pampers, different things, and assisting hampers, assisting some of the people up there in Clogier. But they can't see the MP. She did not show up before. When the Prime Minister came, she showed up. And she only showed up because the Prime Minister was there. And since then, they are not seeing the MP again. The MP has disappeared. She seems to have evaporated. We know the sun hot, but maybe she evaporated because they don't see her. Maybe they're hearing about her, but they're not seeing her. So we cannot forget the people of Clogier and what they are going through. They are brothers, they are sisters. They are some of our relatives. And they are fellow Grenadians, fellow human beings. And as such, we have to continue calling on the government to do what is necessary to ensure that the people of Clogier are properly dealt with, that the situation that they are going through is addressed as soon as possible, and that they do not continue to suffer the indignities that they are suffering right now. At least that a temporary alternative route could be opened out Mr. Alvin Dabrio on this program. I think he spoke about two, not even one. He spoke about two alternative routes that can be made, that the people of Closure would be able to get what they have to get done and do what they have to do and move from point A to point B without all of the simi-dimi and wilele. Yeah? Folks, what we are doing, we're going to keep the phone lines open. So at any point in time, if you want to call, we're going to leave the phone lines open so that you can call at any point in time. So that's the first one. I just wanted to mention the people of Closure and that we keep them in our thoughts and prayers and we not forget them. We as a people have a tendency, an issue come up and we leave it. Because just before the carnival, excuse me, we had the churches, we had different people in what remains of civil society. We had the opposition, various people speaking about that bill that the government has laid in Parliament for first reading. Because they've laid it in Parliament for first reading means that they intend to come back with it, you know. That is not the end of it. Have you heard of any sort of discussions taking place in relation to the bill that they wanted to put forward, where the Attorney General will be making decisions for your 12-year-old children? Yeah, the Minister of Legal Affairs, who just happens to be the Attorney General in this case, but the Minister of Legal Affairs, together with the Minister of Health, are the ones that are going to be making decisions for your child's body. Not you, the parent, you know. Not you, the parent that take care of them, that birthed them, that have taken care of them for the last 12 years. But the Minister of Legal Affairs, Claudette Joseph, and Philip Telesford will be giving advice to Claudette Joseph, and she will be making a determination on behalf of your 12-year-old son or your 12-year-old daughter. No, it's not just girls. They are the ones that would be making the determinations in relation to your children. Are you comfortable with that? Have you called on them to find out when the consultations are going to take place? Because they're going to come back with it. This is not the end of it. This is the beginning. So do not be surprised. Be not surprised when you realize that they come back with this bill in Parliament again. And they will come and tell you that, oh, we discussed with this one and we discussed with that one, and you're going to be asking a question, but I never hear about that. How come I wasn't part of that discussion? So do not be surprised that you see that bill returning to the Parliament. Because these individuals have their agenda. And it's going to affect things like abortion. It's going to affect things like gender assignment. If a child decides that they're not really a boy, they're really a girl, and the parents say no, the Minister of Legal Affairs could decide, well, okay, the child has the right to become a girl if he wants to become a girl. Because it does not state emphatically that that is not so. It leaves it open. And that is one of the things that is included there. So Claudette Joseph could make the decision on behalf of you. You are to stay outside, you know. That your 12-year-old boy who says he's a girl, she can make the decision that that child wish her to be taken into consideration, and they could do whatever assignment, surgery or hormonal treatment or whatever that they want to do. I know who could be paying for it, but she has the wherewithal to be able to, and they cannot tell me. They will have to bring the legislation and show me the part in that legislation that takes that power away from them, because I could see where it gives that power to them. So Philip Telesford could say, well, I think you're really a little girl and shoot, you know. And Claudette could come and say, well, yeah, I believe so, you know. Yeah, okay, and just sign. That's all they have to do, sign on the dotted line. And they can decide gender reassignment for your children. That is a fact. They cannot tell me what I'm saying. Well, they could say what I'm saying is a lie, but they must come and challenge me and show me where I'm lying. They could say what they want. The truth is the truth. They know it. So the bill, remember, the bill was brought to Parliament. They didn't say, well, we ain't bringing it at all. It was brought to Parliament. The first reading has taken place of that bill. Outside of the first reading of that bill, you also have the situation where they say they will be doing consultation. As of today, the 14th day of August, we have heard nothing of consultation in relation to those bills. But you know what? All are we gone quiet on it again. The churches have nothing to say right now again. Yeah? Everybody gone quiet again in relation to those bills. Yeah? They are still coming with this thing, folks. And we cannot allow them to be making that sort of decision. And we cannot place the power in their hands for them to make those sort of decisions on behalf of us, the Grenadian people. On behalf of our families. On behalf of our children. We must have a say. And up to this point, I could guarantee you, if you call Legal Affairs tomorrow, they're going to tell you they're working on it. You wouldn't hear that, oh, we've sent the bill out to this organization or that organization. And if they tell you that, call the organizations, they lie. They have not done that. In fact, it was the opposition that sent it out to various organizations. The Bar Association didn't have that bill. The legal minds of the country you would expect were the people that you would first send it to. They did not have a copy of it. But yet still these people were willing to ramrod that through had not certain people in this society, like the Honorable Emlyn Pierre, political leader of the New National Party, stood up and said, no way, we're not supporting it. These people put a Senate sitting for the day after the House of Representatives because the Deacon Mitchell administration had full intention of passing that bill into law, sneaking it in as law in this country of Grenada. So we have to understand the intention. And we also have to understand that we need to be vigilant. We have to pay attention to what is going on, and we need to be vigilant. We have to ensure. We have to ensure. Yes, my friend. We have to ensure that we remain vigilant in relation to this issue. Because if they come in with it one way, they might try to come with it another way. So we have to be vigilant because when we wake up one morning, because many people don't pay attention to what's going on in Parliament. Some folks wait until we say it here or something to know what's going on in Parliament. Many people don't pay attention. So it may be us having to come and say, hey, you know this pass. Please pay attention to what is going on. It is very important that you do so. All right? Nice. And again, folks, the phone number, 1473-440-7377. That's 1473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. And you see, I'm looking left and right. I'm monitoring everything to make sure, yeah, man, the thing working proper. Yeah, man. 1473-440-7377. That is the number for you to get onto the inside of tonight's program. And yeah, we are forgetting the bill. We're going to continue speaking about it. In fact, during next week, God's willing, we will be going through bit by bit, piece by piece, that bill. Yeah, we'll be going through the full thing. I don't want to do it tonight. So we'll be going through bit by bit the full bill during next week. Yeah? But there are one or two things I just want to read. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? I just put it here. Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Yeah. I just saved you here. Oh, I saved you the wrong place. Yeah. Now I see what I did. Yes, folks. So next week in particular, next week, Wednesday, yeah, the New National Party is going to be staging a meeting that's going to be in St. Andrew Northwest. Oh, no, not this side. I have to check. Yes, St. Andrew Northwest. Yeah, come on, thing, come on up. Yeah, nice. Yeah, move, nice. Right, yeah, the NNP will be staging. That's the St. Andrew Northwest constituency branch out there. They're going to be having a meeting in Bylands. It will be streamed live. And you know, if it's being streamed live, what's going on with talking points on that night? Yeah. We're going to focus on the meeting itself. So that is taking place next week, Wednesday. So those of you in St. Andrew, and in particular in the areas surrounding Bylands, and so, yes, that meeting is starting from 6:30. So you will have the opportunity to listen into that live. We will be broadcasting it here. All right, I think we have a call online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night. Hello. Oh, I know what's happening there. One minute caller. 1 minute. Yeah. Go right ahead, caller. You're live.
Yes, and greetings to Grenada, Carriacou and PD Matnik.
How you doing, Pass?
I'm doing pretty good.
All
pretty
right,
good.
wonderful.
Just standing low here, you know.
Yeah.
So Brother Sheldon, with regards to that bill, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at how the administration is operating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after the leader of His Majesty opposition, together with the team in the parliament, right, made the recommendation and so on that the bill should not go forth. There should only be the first reading,
Mm-hmm.
and have a recession and have the discussion, right, consultation. Now, our Prime Minister, okay, had made the announcement during the campaign, right? Remember when he made that big brag about the media, and you know we'd have consultation with the media, and the media
spoke about freedom of. He spoke about freedom of information, that there would be a Freedom of Information Act, and they have made absolutely no move towards a Freedom of Information Act.
Right. So the Grenadian people should have known from the time he made that statement that would have been fake, because the government, okay, under the leadership of Dr. the Right Honorable Kit Mitchell,
mm-hmm.
and the NNP team, you know the struggles that they had together with Gregory Boyne and so on in having the liberalization of the network,
mm-hmm.
right? And from the minute time the team start thinking about liberating the telecommunication network, the people of Grenada, smart and intelligent as they be, would be applauding, or should have been applauding, the administration for the decision to liberalize communication. Meaning that
mm-hmm.
here is a team that is recognizing the freedom or the liberty of his nationals in having freedom of the press, freedom to talk out on any matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are thinking. No, just think about the last time when they had this big conference, and who did they invite? They just invite some of their stock bearers, some of those who would fold the stocks and put it aside nicely for them, right? People like Linda Straker and the others like these, right?
They want them in that.
They don't want them. They don't want you all. They don't want you. They don't want Andre Donald. They don't want Auntie Jenny in this thing, because they know that they will be asked the hard questions. Now, a matter of concern for that bill, right? Go back to the bill,
mm-hmm.
the 12-year-old legislation. Now, up to today, and as I said, I made the point the last time that they know, because they have the gazettes, and they know all the licensed ministers of religion in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of us who have a license, who have went through the process, through the Governor General, and got appointed and licensed us, they have not consulted with any one of us. As I said before, that I am not a part of the National Church Council body. I'm not a part of that. But I'm a minister of religion, licensed, recognized minister of religion, marriage officer, right? So they need to hear us if they want to understand the minds of the people, especially from the church, the home, and etc. Get some key personnels, get them on board, and sit with them, with us, and let's talk about this thing. That bill doesn't have to go through because we've existed long before that bill. We have existed long in the past before without this bill. They want to sneak, and we made it clear the last time that once they had signed on to this Samoa agreement, that is what we're going to benefit. That is what we're going to reap. Money. They're going to put a lot of money into this thing. And money, as you know, is the root of some evil. Right? Once people get money, it's like they got blinded by so many different objects. So I'm calling on our Grenadian people, especially the leaders, wherever you are, religious leaders, principals, whoever you are, please put aside the politics in this thing. Put aside your political differences and let us come together and deal with this beast. That's a beast. That's an evil beast.
And you know, Pastor, the thing is that I believe they think that people forget this thing. I believe they think that people forget it and are not going to allow people to forget it. You cannot... This thing dangerous. You telling me I must allow Claudette to decide if my girl child or boy child want to be a boy or a girl, or if they want to do an abortion or whatever operation they want to do, and so, or hormonal treatment they want to do. All of that is included in it. It is not excluded, so it is included.
Right.
So you telling me I must allow her and Philip Telesford to make those decisions? Man, that'll go it on.
No love.
Never.
No love, no compassion. No love, no compassion. And they got to be morally right to deal with this. Yes. That's my challenge to you, ministers. You had to be morally correct in making such decision for our nation. And up to now, the Prime Minister and his team haven't come to us and apologized for signing this thing behind our backs.
The Samoa Agreement.
Not one. Yes, they've never, after they lie and argue that they never read it, so much more to sign it. And Grenadians are taking this thing like, if it was NNP, watch me, if it was the new National Party in administration, in office.
Pan and drum and thing would have be beaten in tongue all now.
You're going down ministerial complex every day and campaign. I see they do something in St. David's in closing. Right? They dig up all the, watch me, you see what they do. I see a house where those guys excavate in Providence, the Providence in St. David's Prime Minister. Y'all allow these excavating guys, and those fellas working, they're working for the money, okay? But if you see this skimp of where the house is standing on top of that bank, when in the world would they be able to build all these walls? And make all these sleeper drains? And I said to before that we had already had a lot of sleeper drains and walls in the make just to approve. But it was not so rampant and foolishly done. Okay, you must take a drive up that area and watch what's going on up there. I pray God that so much rain don't fall.
I will send my drone.
Yes, send me drone.
I got to fly my drone.
They need to revisit this thing, man. Okay, so have a good night anyway.
Thank you so very much, Pastor. We thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
All right, folks. I remember the phone number 1-473-440-7377. But remember, you've got to call us on the WhatsApp. Yes, we know it's a landline, but you've got to call us on the WhatsApp on that number. It is Talking Points. Yes, we're back. So it's Talking Points. Give us a call. All right, 1-473-440-7377, and you can have your say. Yes. All right, folks. Yeah, we ain't forgetting that bill. We not forgetting it. The government could do what they want. We not forgetting it. Yeah, all they want to vex. Yeah? All they think all they could have sneak that by us and all kind of no. We not allowing it. They're gonna come with it again. And they're going to change the name of it or so, or they're going to insert it into a larger piece of legislation to try and achieve the same thing. We've got a call online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Caller, you're live.
Brother Sheldon, how are you?
We there listening you?
Yeah, Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Claret, Teleford, and the NDC administration, the outer place to tell we French children what they have to be, what they should be, and what they should not be. When parents had to work hard to bring food to children, when husband, boyfriend, girlfriend had to work hard and labor to bring food, the young bouncing boy and the young bouncing girls in the world. You have a man and a woman want to tell you what a child should be, the outer place. Because it's shaping the future of the children, it will not clear it. It will not the NDC administration. You as the parent have to work hard. Work hard for the mega dollar to get a proper education, to bring her up, to make it someone in society now. And you want to come and tell the children what they should be and what they cannot be. And I know God created both man and woman, and man for woman, and woman for man. And I need two gender on face of the earth.
Each his own, but they could go to hell if they think that we're going to allow Claudette Joseph and Philip Telesford to make decisions on behalf of our children. Let me repeat it so that they could clip it properly and play it where they want to play it. They can go to hell if they think we're going to allow that to happen.
That is not happening. There's no way. If Clyde want to turn himself to a man, that is up to she. If the NDC administration, who is man and woman, want to do it to themselves, they're up to them. We have the right to tell themselves that, but not to we, our children. They are the place, and they have to go back and get rid of that bill. They have to get rid of that. Instead of look at the situation with people closure, with the road situation. The people school are about to open. The people closure, they need a proper road. That's what the government should spend time on, to building a proper road for the people closure and other people using the road to use. Brother Sheldon, have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my brother. Folks, the phone lines are open, 1473-440-7377. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Also, folks, we have not forgotten one of the main issues that Grenada is facing at this point in time, where the U.S. State Department have placed visa sanctions on Grenadian government officials, whom they have not yet named. So we don't know who Goose Gang cook yet. It's not me. I don't have no visa. It's not me. Yeah, I don't have visa. The only visa I have, I think, is my co-op bank card. Yeah, I think that is a visa card. That's the only visa. I don't have no other visa. And as I expected, I knew that the government of Grenada would come with a statement, but they would make sure and come with it either late on Thursday or sometime during the day on Friday in relation to this issue. While they could have easily held a press conference in relation to this morning, in my view, they decided that they would send out there are certain words I would not use on the program because there are children listening. But, yes, Wayne, I'm here. Yeah, so there are certain words I will not use on the program, but they've decided to send out their release this evening. Late this evening, they sent out a release that reads, and I'll pull it up for you so you all can see. Oh, no, let me just make sure. Yeah, where'd I go? Nice, right, yeah. So let me just pull this up so that you all can see what I'm speaking about. And it's a public statement by the government of Grenada. The government of Grenada has taken note of the recent press statement issued by the United States Department of State. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is actively engaged with the authorities of the United States. through established diplomatic channels in addressing this matter. Yeah, let me raise the thing for you all. We assure the people of Grenada that your government is attending to this situation with the utmost responsibility and in the best interests of our nation. We urge the public to be guided by official information issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as we will provide further updates as appropriate. You see this last line here? As we will provide further updates as appropriate. That's the same as when they tell us they're going to give us information when they're ready. That is the same as when they told us that information will be provided on a need-to-know basis. That is what they said to us. So even information in relation to this, but the good thing about this, and still the bad thing, is that in the first instance, it's going to be affecting the senior people first. So the government ministers, the senior officials within the Ministry of Health, like the chief medical officer, the permanent secretary, etc., maybe even hospital administrator. All these sorts of people are the ones who are at risk of losing their visas. There may even be people within the Ministry of Finance, the people who are actually doing the payments. Because the US has made it clear. They see the Cuban medical missions as, and I'm saying they see, I'm not saying I see, I'm not saying my organization sees, I'm just repeating what they see it as. They see it as forced labor. And they are seeing that, they're saying that the government of Grenada is involved in forced labor. Because remember, I can pull it up here for you. If you're looking at the Cuban medical mission in Grenada, this is the Cuban medical mission, you know. Yeah? These are the people. If all of these people have to go back, where we getting others from? If all of these people, this is the Cuban technical mission. Don't even ask me to try and start pronouncing them name and them there. I have to be joking. If I think I go in and try to pronounce the names there. But the urologist, neurosurgeon, psychiatrist, oncologist, hematologist, orthopedic surgeons, yeah? Oral and maxillofacial surgeon, right, yeah, they say it twice there. Cardiologist, ear, nose and throat specialist. Yeah, this person, just Cuban technical mission, may be one of the people who are working in a technical area. Pathologists, internists, gynecologists. All of these people are with the Cuban technical mission. And if we are to lose our neurosurgeon, or urologists, or psychiatrists, oncologists, hematologists, orthopedic surgeons, our oral and maxillofacial surgeons, our ENT specialists, which I need to go and see again. Dr. Luis, I'll see you in a while. Anyway, the pathologists, internists, gynecologists. If we are to lose all of these people simply to save the visas of a few, but you realize what they're already doing, eh? We realize what the government is already doing, and these are just some of the Cubans there, because if you check other areas, you'd realize that there are Cuban doctors in several other areas. We're not sure if they are also part of the entire thing, but there are various other Cubans that are in the system. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness.
Cry
good night,
out,
Sheldon Scott.
Cry out, Pastor, cry out.
How are you, my friend?
Man, I am good, but how are you doing?
I am on top of the world. I am right up on top. I am on top of the world, Sheldon.
Yes, man.
Sheldon, I am not fearful to make that statement. That press release that the government, this present administration sent out to the Grenadian people, this is an insult.
Of course, it's an insult.
It is an insult to the Grenadian population.
Is I come to say, I don't know what to say,
so to speak. And let we as Grenadian do not take what America do slightly. And when these people here are going to say that they're working on it furiously, who is you to talk about that? They are not qualified. Who you have here, you understand me saying, to speak to the American authority as it relates to what the American has recently done to Grenada. Let me tell you something, Sheldon. This thing is a very serious thing. And let me tell you something. That will not only affect government ministers, but it's going to take effect on every Grenadians. It's going to take effect on every Grenadian.
But this is the first stage, yeah? Because remember,
so to speak,
what is happening? Remember, first of all, Marco Rubio, who is the U.S. Secretary of State, is the son of Cuban immigrants. His people immigrated from Cuba to the United States because of the Cuban system. They didn't agree with the Cuban system, whatever took place there, and they went to the United States. As such, without saying it another way, he has a chip on his shoulder in relation to Cuba. And if he's now in a position where he can affect change to the people who affected change to his family and make his family have to leave Cuba. But broader than that, there are existing sanctions on Cuba for many years.
Thank you, sir.
So
thank you, sir.
We won't get into another part of that, but go ahead, Pass. You won't get into another part. Go ahead.
But you see, the other problem is that our foreign minister, that is Mr. Andal, he is not qualified to speak to Rubio because he is a student of Cuba. That makes him weak to negotiate on Grenada behalf. That makes the man weak. When you have the cause to look at it again, why they did not come out with a press conference, eyeball the people, getting the journalists that will ask them the hard question. Let me tell you something, Sheldon. As it is presently right now, Grenadians, I am begging all presently right now, we are about to hit an iceberg. We have to stand up. Let me tell you something. This bill that this administration is about to pass, that bill is a cancer. This bill is a cancer, Sheldon Scott. And let me go further to say, you have Christian people that claim to be Christian. A set of wolf in sheep clothing sit down in the foot of the Prime Minister. And none of all they can tell the Prime Minister, hey, let us not go down the road with that. We cannot support that as Christian people. Because if we support that, we're going to lose a whole generation in Grenada, Carriacou, and P.T. Matney. Let me tell you something, man. We are sitting on a time bomb. Sheldon, I'm 70 years old. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, you're young still, I don't man. Know. You just leave secondary school?
Yes, but I am in the departure lounge. And Mr. Deacon Mitchell, I do respect you as the Prime Minister of Grenada. But let me tell each and every one of all you, this bill that you are about to pass to make our children astray. Because I am telling you, I don't make children anymore. But for the younger generation who is about to make children, and you would not be able to speak to your 11-year-old child and your 12-year-old child, then I'm asking you, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, build more housing scheme, because parents will put out the children. Parents will definitely put the children out. But I'm telling you, you have a fight. Mr. Deacon Mitchell, this is pastorally speaking. Everybody know me. You and your cabinet, you have a fight, and a real fight. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, this bill could never pass. It could never pass in Grenada here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You want us to have a lost generation? 11 and 12 years old? Don't take the stupidness in Nigeria and Dubai and bring it here, man. Grenada is a religious city, it is sovereign, man.
My brother,
back off.
But those kind of bills cannot pass in certain countries either. Certain aspects of that can never pass in an Islamic country like Dubai or Saudi Arabia or so, and would never be accepted in a partially Islamic country like Nigeria. So,
and you know the thing that hurts me? And you know the thing that hurts me? You, Mr. Philip Telesford, what's your age, man? What happened to you, man? You, and make it worse again, you, the Attorney General. I want you to tell me how many children that you have and what effect the passing of this bill in Grenada will take effect on your children. Your children, Miss Gladys Joseph. Stop all this stupidness. Watch. We're going to stand up and we're going to, and let me tell you something, Sheldon. You have some NDCs that's standing up and they decide to fight against it too, you know. How many NDC supporters do you hear supporting that bill? Check that out. Check that out. Have a blessed night, man. You have a blessed night.
All right, Pastor. Thank you so very much for your call.
Yeah.
1-473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, you could do just like Pastor and my good friend. You could get onto the program too. Yes, indeed. Folks, remember that meeting taking place up there in Bylands next week. Wednesday, it's going to be starting from 6:30 p.m. And looking forward to seeing you all there. All right, so that's going to be taking place next week, Thursday. Next week, what I'm saying Thursday, next week, Wednesday. Yeah, and it's going to be starting from, let me see, where is it? Yeah, where's the thing? Nice, it's here. Where it go? Yeah, come here. Right, nice. I think I have it now. Good. You know, I just have to talk to it for it to come up. Right. So that is taking place next week, Wednesday, up there in St. Andrew, Northwest. Mandy, I find you staying fine. Mandy, give me a call when you get a chance. Yeah, so next week, Wednesday, from 6:30 p.m. Also, folks, remember, the back to school drive, that's happening. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, and the squad there. I think all you're still collecting, right, Kathy? All you collect and send already. I think it's still on, right? So that's drop off. No, you come back here. Right, nice. Drop off is at Compass Shipping, 730 Chester Street, Brooklyn, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you could Zell and I ain't sure if that is still on or if it's complete and so yet, but I just mentioned it for what it's worth. Remember the back to school at K&R Bookstore. Yes, they are on H.A. Blaze Street. You're going down H.A. Blaze Street, down, not up. You're going down H.A. Blaze Street. From where the police giving signal, you're heading down. You're looking on your right hand side. You'll see Bailey and them have a new building there. You're going inside there. You're looking for the place. You go see K&R Bookstore. You're going inside there. You're saying Sheldon send you. And you're here. You buy one. You're getting one free. So you have two children. You buy for one. You're getting for the other one free. All right? And remember, the sale goes until the 31st of August. So your time is limited for when you would get this deal. Pens, pencils, erasers, highlighters, markers, notebooks, backpacks, etc. And you could also call them on 231-3500. All right, nice. And folks, you know, me ain't forgetting the little one. Yeah, the issue is still there. All right, for little Kilani. All right, so yeah, the account number and everything there. All your help if all you could. And then let me give my partners here. What's the matter? Why am I not hearing you, man? Something is up with my audio. Let me just pull this and let me pull this and see what is up with my audio. Yeah, I'm not sure what is taking place there. It's supposed to be playing, but it's for some reason it is not. Let me try this one and see if this one will work. And that is not playing either, and I'm not sure why that is so. What's going on with the audio here? Yeah, what's going on with my audio on these things? Yeah, because I have some clips to play. We had to play some clips tonight. Yeah, folks, let me see if I could sort this out quickly to see what the issue is here and why these are not playing for some reason. And I still can't find the... Oh, I think I know what is up now.
Chief powerhouse behind Key Central and dozens of standout brands across Grenada and beyond. From web designs, animations, and motion graphics to custom video productions, we bring your visions to life with unmatched...
Yeah, so let me take that one from the top and let me just bring it across. Nice, beautiful. Yeah, our good friends at... Yeah. Camelon.
Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Look no further than the Chameleon Design Studios, the creative powerhouse behind Key Central and dozens of standout brands across Grenada and beyond. From web designs, animations, and motion graphics to custom video productions, we bring your visions to life with unmatched efficiency and professionalism. Need a logo? Logo design starts at just $1,500, and our starter pack includes brochures, call cards, and letterheads. Whether you're launching a new business, revamping your identity, or telling your story visually, Chameleon Design Studios is the new face of designs. Call us now at 1473-422-8601 or scan that QR code. Follow us on Instagram at chameleon_473. Let's communicate. Call us today.
Yes, indeed, folks. And also, we've got our good friends there at Noise Radio. Yeah, I have to pull down the volume before I play Noise, but what? Yeah.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD contents with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand. You can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss 1 minute in entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. We Noise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you will get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Yes, indeed, folks. So that's our good friends at We Noise, always there with us. But, folks, we were just discussing the issue of the sanctions that have been placed in Grenada. And Pastor made a very important point there. At this stage, they are aiming at the government officials. It can be expanded and nothing can stop it from being expanded. Because while you're placing the focus now on the Grenadian government officials, at the other end, they can be placing the pressure on us Grenadians as well. So you may very well find, as is happening with other countries right now, ask Caititians, ask St. Lucians, ask Dominicans what is taking place with them when they head over to get their visas. And you have some people who meet all of the criteria that the United States are asking for in their visa application and are being refused. You have some other people that on a normal day, they may have given them a visa, and now these people are being refused visa from these islands. And what is to say the same thing will not be applied to Grenada? So they have started with the officials. They ain't end yet. They have started with the officials. But when they are ready for us, the people of Grenada, to force the hands of the officials. Because they still jump in plane, they will just go to Europe. They still jump in plane, they won't go to Canada, making sure that they don't have to stop over into the United States. So they still have access to overseas, and so they're still going to jump the plane and go every 2 minutes because we know, these people like a plane. The only people like plane more than the government of Grenada are pilots and air hostesses. That's the only other two people that like plane more than the government of Grenada. Air hostesses and pilots. They love a plane. They always flying. They flying more than Lugaru and Sukuya back in the 1930s. Always out, in the air, ball of fire. these individuals, when they are ready for the government of Grenada to place, for the people of Grenada to place the pressure on them, who you think they're coming after? They're coming after we. So when you hear 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, that what they are now requiring of some African countries, because they've already lumped Grenada, they didn't call St. Vincent, they didn't call Dominica, they didn't call St. Kitts, they didn't call any of the other islands there, they called Grenada with African countries and Cuba, which many people find strange that Grenada has been lumped into that category. But I don't find it strange because we told you this would happen months ago. Go back and look at our programs and we said that this would happen. And you know, when we're hearing that this kind of thing would happen, remember some of the stuff we was hearing from some of the government ministers and so, when they were asked about this situation, remember some of what we was hearing from some of the government ministers? The bravado and that kind of thing. Yeah, let me hear some of them.
And I want to ask you this question of being a part of the cabinet here in Grenada. I want to ask you this question. We have heard that the U.S. intention to impose that visa restriction on all all government officials, I should say, yourself, your family included. If Grenada and all other countries do not immediately end or engage the Cuban medical professionals, what is the volume of Cuban involvement in Grenada's health? If you could answer that for me also, healthcare system. And what damage can this do to the health system here in Grenada? And if I could continue along that line, a couple of multiple points of this question. No definite statement, I would say, has been made on the issue by your government, if I could say that, thus far, with the exception of saying thanks to the Cubans. Is your cabinet and other senior government officials willing to give up their U.S. visas, to keep Cuba healthcare professionals in Grenada system? And if not, what are the alternatives being discussed? Are there any alternatives being discussed thus far by cabinet members?
Well, I always believe that you have to put the people above one political self. And in that sense, I believe that my government has already cited that we are prepared to go to the extreme to make sure that we keep our people safe. So if it means that we have to give up our visa rights to the U.S. to make sure that Grenada stands behind Cuba as one of the countries that supported Grenada in thick and thin. I personally was one of the persons who graduated from Cuba University back in the days and so on. I got a scholarship to Cuba. And as such, I have a moral obligation to support the Cubans in every way. So if it means that the government of the U.S. decided to take away our visas because we support the Cuban initiative, I would say so be it.
Yeah.
The Cuban doctors and nurses who have visited our shows over the years and perform a valuable service for our people. We complain every day that the service in the hospital is bad. But we have Grenadians who are graduated from St. George Universities, Grenadians, and they are not here to basically support the health system. So if we can depend on the Cuban graduates to basically help the system until we can fix it to a point, I would say so be it. And I'll fully support the Cubans at any time, anywhere, because I think they are doing a very useful and human service to the government of Grenada and the people of Grenada.
All right, and I think the Americans heard you loud and clear, sir. So don't blame us. If anything happens there, do not blame us in relation to that particular one. But he wasn't the only one. No, he was not the only one. Let me hear what other people had to say. No, you have to come out from there. No, you have to remove you. No, you remove. Nice, right. Where is it? Nice, good. Yeah, let's hear what other people had to say in relation to this particular issue. In Parliament and thing. Where you say this? Yeah, in Parliament you say this one. Okay, let me hear you.
Cuba continues to be a trustworthy friend and partner, not only of Grenada, not only of the Caribbean, but of peoples the world over. When the COVID pandemic broke out, Cuban doctors went as far as Italy to provide services. I didn't hear anybody talk about human trafficking or nothing like that. Mr. Speaker, we have not just a legal obligation, we have a moral and ethical obligation to stand by the people of Cuba. Were it not for the selfless support of Cuba, many of us would not have had the opportunities for further education that we got. On the other side, the honorable member from St. Mark, testament of that. Brother, table enough for that. No. The renowned economist, Honorable Chotai, Brother Dennis Cornwall, and myself for a brief period. Our health infrastructure would collapse without the generous intervention of Cuba. And for that, we must always take a principled stand and at all costs avoid being opportunistic or transactional as it relates to the relationship between Cuba and Grenada.
Let me just get this back. Yes, folks. So you have heard the minister there speaking. Yeah, they're willing to give it up. Well, the Americans heard you, so they heard you. They heard you loud and clear. So they've decided to do what they want to do. So you might be one of them. It'd be a hell of a thing if foreign minister lose their U.S. visa. But anyhow, yeah. And I'm not saying. Let me make it clear here. We are not saying that we agree with what the United States is doing. We are not saying that we do not support our Cuban brothers and sisters. We are not saying that. What we are saying here is that this government knew several months now that this would be forced upon them. And I find it very strange that yesterday, was it yesterday or day before, all of a sudden we saw the Ministry of Health speaking about the Nigerian doctors and nurses, and you're hearing about the possibility of nurses and doctors coming from, and I'm just trying to pull it up here, nurses and doctors coming from Ghana as well. So we're hearing about that, the possibility of that taking place as well. Yeah? And we asked the question before. The question was asked specifically in relation to the issue of Mount Sinai, which has been contracted by the government of Grenada to do work within our healthcare system. Yeah? They have been contracted to do work within our healthcare system. And we asked the question, will they be able to work in a healthcare system where you have Cubans working within the system, the Cuban Medical Brigade, where they are working within the system? Because the U.S. is stating, and has been stating, since the beginning of the year, that we are going to place sanctions on countries that have the Cuban Medical Brigade. You went while that was taking place and signed an agreement with Mount Sinai, a U.S.-based company, who, according to the U.S. sanctions, cannot work along with Cubans within the Grenadian healthcare system unless they get permission from who? Marco Rubio and the United States Department. How much y'all think they will get that how much y'all think they will get that permission? Yeah. So we saw this. Yeah, we saw this happening. The team of 4 Nigerian medical professionals deployed through the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps. So you have the Cuban Medical Mission, and now we have the Nigerian Technical Aid Corps. And again, we have no problem with that. Any of us may end up having to utilize the services of these individuals. But don't come and tell us that are they willing to give up all your visa, they're willing to give up all your visa, and only bringing in the replacements of the Cubans one by one. Don't feed us that. You all know very well what you're doing. Yeah? Anesthesiologist, yeah, nephrologist, and an orthopedic specialist. Yeah, so they started bringing in the people who are going to replace the Cubans because these people want a visa, you know. Does talk about who go in and do this and thing in the States, and so if you let me want to go tour. Yeah, yes, Pastor. Yeah, man, sure. Yeah, Nice, yeah. If you let me want to think, because again, let me pull it up here for you. Nice. Let me go across here. Good. So remember, here, Cubans. Let's see under cardiology. The doctors, these are the list of doctors in Grenada who are accredited. Cuban. Right. Cardiovascular surgeon. Cuban. So we already been through the Cuban mission there. Let's go over this particular one here. Oh, okay, let's take this call and then we'll go over the rest. Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, Sheldon, the voice of one again. Sheldon,
yes, sir, no problem.
Listen, Grenadians are not fools. Sheldon, I told you a while ago that the press release sent out by the government is an insult to the Grenadian population. And the evidence that I have to prove to say that is based on the statement that Mr. Telesford has made. And also, Mr. Andal just come very arrogantly and fortify the point that Mr. Telesford has made. But what these guys and them should have do, the statement that they made, they should not have made that statement in that manner. So what they did, they put the foot in the mouth. So this press release that is sent out there, it have no weight. It do not have any weight, Mr. Andal. After you just say what you said there, you and Mr. Telesford, as the foreign minister, who in America you could face to convince them, man? Man, Mr. Andal, stop all this stupidness now. Listen, we don't go to university like all, but we don't dance. Stop all your stupidness, all you put. In other words, Sheldon Scott, what Mr. Telesford and Mr. Andal should do, the foreign minister, all you should have engaged all your brain before all you put all your mouth in there, all you that cause what happened today. Thank you, Sheldon.
Notice something, Pastor. Remember,
yes.
when the Prime Minister was asked the question about Mount Sinai and their
Yes.
ability to work with Cuban specialists, he said that's a question for Mount Sinai. No.
So in other words,
he take millions of dollars of our money and give to a company that he don't know if the company could do the job that he asked them to do.
But then, Sheldon, I agree with you. But then the Prime Minister said that is a matter for Mount Sinai. So in other words, when the Prime Minister made that statement, I was shocked, In other words, the very said Prime Minister that want to walk in the foot of Maurice Bishop, the answer that he gave, in other words, he's saying the ball is in the court of Mount Sinai. They could kick them out if they want. That is nothing to do with him. Come on, man. Listen, Grenadian, Mr. Prime Minister, and your cabinet, Grenadians are very intelligent set of people. We are not as dumb as you think. Sheldon, have a good night, man.
All right, thank you, Pastor. And I think we just need to mention certain things there. The sanctions that the U.S. have placed against Cuba, if you check section 514.547, you check 515, 585, 515, 51547 again there. There is section 515209 that restrictions on direct financial transactions, specifically prohibits U.S. persons from engaging in direct financial transactions with entities and sub-entities identified on the State Department's Cuba restricted list. This list includes numerous military, intelligence, and security entities and their subsidiaries, right? So there are various aspects of the embargo that has been placed on Cuba and the various sanctions that has been placed on Cuba by the United States that are directly implicated by Mount Sinai's partnership with the government of Grenada. In fact, if you check any of the experts, and I have checked with the experts, they will tell you that Mount Sinai put themselves in some problems. Because here they are, you have the U.S. government sanctioning government officials in Grenada for the Cuban medical mission. At the same time that you have that taking place, you have Mount Sinai, a U.S.-based company, working along with the Cuban medical mission. And they can't avoid it. Because again, we were going through the list there. I could pull back up the list for you there. Yeah, under nearly every section that you look. Yeah, it's Cuban doctors. And again, we do not have a problem with Cuban medical professionals and so on. Right? ENT specialists, Cuban, emergency medical. Let me see who's there. Right, now that's Grenadians there. We just checking through, man. We're going through. Right, now the Grenadian there, general practitioner as well. We papa. That list long. Gynecologists and so on. You can go through and you can see that many of the people that are involved in the Grenadian healthcare system are either from Cuba or Cuban trained. And we are not saying anything is wrong with that. In fact, it was Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell who many years ago re-established, and this is a very important point, it was Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell who was the first leader from the region to re-establish diplomatic relations with Cuba. Everybody else follow. I see some people trying to twist the narrative and it wasn't he first and hush all him out. Well, they don't know what they're talking about. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell was the first one that went there. And he would often tell you the story that when he went there, Castro tell him he was a brave man. And even with all of that, you did not see a situation where Grenada faced any sort of sanctions and that sort of thing. Even though Grenada was the one that led the way. And then you had Comandante, well I usually say Comandante in Jefe. Fidel Ruiz Castro came to Grenada. He came to Grenada. Did Grenada get any sort of sanctions and that kind of thing? You had President Bush, you had all these presidents, and so instead of that, what happened? These people used to call on Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell as the person to represent the region in relation to certain things. They had a very close relationship with him. Unlike what you're seeing taking place now. You know why? Because Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell understands diplomacy. He understands how his country can be friends with Cuba and still be friends with the United States. He understands how his country can be friends of all and enemies of none. But when you have, as a good friend of mine during the day kept saying, neophytes who do not know how to wade in the water of diplomacy. This is the situation you end up with. And it is not a situation that you have to think it's only those in office. I know there's nothing wrong and Grenada ain't do nothing wrong. Go and hug up Daniel Ortega and all of them and take picture. Play you as the new Maurice Bishop and just remember the full story. You want to take the pictures as Maurice? Maurice take a picture with Ortega and was Ortega, Bishop, and the one from Manley. So you see picture like that, you go and you're taking picture with Ortega and the Cuban president, and because you so want to be Maurice Bishop. But there are consequences to how you do what you do. And the consequences are not just on you. The consequences are going to be on the Grenadian people. And we are not saying stay away. But you do not have the capacity in this administration to be able to address this issue. That is why they have to come out today and say they go tell you when they're ready. Because from what I'm hearing right now, cabinet closed down anyway. Yeah, somebody put a lock on the cabinet closed. So the country on autopilot right now, it seems. That is what's taking place in our country at this point in time. Like we country on autopilot. Nonsense. They do not have the ability to deal with the issue at hand. It is clear. Clear. When they were asked question again, let's see if we could get something here again. Yeah, let me see if I could find. Yeah, Mr. Man, ask your question.
You mentioned quite a lot about Mount Sinai. I would like to know where Cuba, who has been an integral part of the medical development, implementation of many programs, in Grenada for many, many years. I would like to know where they fall in the scheme of things. And I would also like to ask a political question in terms of when you have a president that attaches everything to his political view and our reliance so far and still on Cuban help, how would your connections with Mount Sinai avoid such a detrimental decision in terms of boycott or withdrawal of services from America?
Minister, would you like to start?
Folks, before we go any further, this is a lesson in how to say absolutely nothing in the shortest space of time.
Good evening, everyone. So, you correctly mentioned the long history of close collaboration with Cuba. We expect that that relationship will continue irrespective of whatever relationship we enter into with any other country or any other entity. As a sovereign country, we have the right to do so. Our intention is to work along with everyone who can walk with us in our thrust towards national development. We do not seek to antagonize anyone, and we do not expect that any decision that we make, which is above board, should be a bone of contention with any third party.
You mentioned quite a lot about Mount Sinai.
That's a lesson in how to say absolutely nothing in a short space of time. Yeah? This is not a situation that was just sprung upon the government of Grenada. This is a situation that they knew was in the making. Don't think that they've been looking to Africa to get people and so on just so. My personal belief is they are going to turn on the Cubans sooner rather than later. All they're speaking about moral position and thing, that's just talk from them. Them want their visa more than anything else. Hence the reason that you realize they've started to filter our African brothers and sisters into the healthcare system. They probably thought if they'd rushed these that they brought in quickly, that the US might have stayed a hand in relation to what they have done. Because remember as well, the Prime Minister of Grenada earlier this year went to a meeting in the US with the same Department of State, Marco Rubio and so, and came back to Grenada and said absolutely nothing. Up to this point in time, anybody, point me to where the Prime Minister of Grenada, Ndika Mitch Michel, came back to Grenada and said to the Grenadian people, I went to this meeting, this is what happened. I went to this meeting and this is what they intend to do. Not a word, because probably it's on a need to know. So now the Americans have done what they have done, and it still seems to be on a need to know. We need to know, but they will decide what we need to know. And they will decide when we need to know. Yeah? That is why we could have things like this taking place. Well, let me see. No, you come back here. Yeah, we want you to think up proper. Nice. Yeah, that is why we could have these sorts of statements being made and this kind of thing, and they feel that is okay. You understand? Yeah, these kind of things could be taking place.
From Samantha Pascal. Will Mount Sinai be allowed to associate with Cuban doctors given the U.S. government's position on Cuba and Mount Sinai's ties to the U.S.?
Well, it's a question for Mount Sinai. I can't answer the question as to what Mount Sinai would.
You sat in a cabinet. You decided to give millions of dollars to people that you don't know if they could do the job. Not if they have the capacity, you know. If they have the capacity and the legal ability to do it. Any fool would have known. Any fool would have known that you have a Cuban in charge of the U.S. State Department. And if you are going to engage a U.S. company you could very well find yourself in this situation. Any fool would have known that.
Samantha Pascal.
Well, let me not say anyone, because
Will
apparently some
Mount
do not.
Sinai be allowed to associate with Cuban doctors, given the U.S. government's position on Cuba and Mount Sinai's ties to the U.S.?
Well, it's a question for Mount Sinai. I can't answer the question as to what Mount Sinai would or will not be allowed to do.
But you should find out what Mount Sinai is allowed or not allowed to do before you take millions of dollars in Grenadian taxpayer money and give them to do it. Because they could use the excuse now that we can't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Prime Minister of Grenada. In case somebody didn't recognize him without the old oil. Well, no, it wasn't old oil, it's tar. What he does use? You know what he does put on and thing to go on? What he does put on is the business. What he does put on is the business. 14734407377. It is now 32 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock in the Eastern Caribbean. And of course, we are taking your calls. Yeah. 14734407377. And let me just go to some of the comments here. Leroy saying the Bible say, woe to the priests and the pastors, so don't be surprised. Wolfgang is saying, imagine if this visa issue happened under the NNP government. The NDC and its goons would have made political carnival with it, and that is true. But we NNPites, we sit down and we ain't saying nothing. Or sit down there. Sit down there and let them continue getting away on all issues. Wolfgang continues to say, Deacon plan on bringing Nigerian doctors to fill the role of the Cubans. And I agree with you, Wolfgang. Because I think that in the middle of Carnival, you announced that Nigerian doctors here. I think that they had some inkling from whichever area that, hey, all your visas getting cancer. And they tried to avoid that by rushing the Nigerians into the Grenadian healthcare system. And then they're going to start getting less and less of the Cubans into the Grenadian healthcare system to try and get away. Yeah. I'm not saying that one day, Caitlin, behave yourself. Yeah. Moko Pen. Moko Pen. One of these days you must give your boy a call and no Moko Pen. Give me a call. Yeah, Moko Pen, my Springs people. Yeah, but Moko Joseph is saying, Sheldon, they start rejecting Grenadian visas. What about the lady from Grenada? They didn't even look at it and they turned her down. Yeah, I'm hearing stories. I'm hearing stories. I'm hearing stories. I know for other islands it is happening in significant numbers. I'm hearing stories, but the stories will be increasing because definitely, yeah, they're not only going to go after the officials. The officials are one thing. And if the officials have already openly stated, hey, we don't mind losing our visas, then who they're going to come after? The rest of us. And remember, it's not just the officials to lose their visas. They are going to be losing it as well as their children. Yeah, their husband, their wife, all their close family members, their relatives. They are also going to be losing their visas. And if you have a green card and you're in the United States and you happen to be a close relative of one of these individuals who are being sanctioned, woe be unto you. You better look for the ICE van. Yeah? And we ain't talking about the one that has carried the cold stuff. We're talking about the one that has carried the fellas and them with the shirt mark ICE and thing. Yeah. You know, yeah. It mark I come in. Yeah, right. ICE, yeah, ICE. I come in. Right, yeah. And let me see what else the listeners are saying here. Wolfgang Deacon said last month that he didn't need a referendum for anything because the people elected him to pass laws. He go find out differently yesterday. Right? Yeah. Let me see over on the Facebook what some of the comments are over there. All right. And yeah, I see somebody saying something now. Let's see that. She want people children become what she is. She lie. My child and no one will tell my children what to do. I make them. These wicked people and this think Grenada belongs to them, so they can tell everybody what to do. Not my children. Yeah, I think I have to make some T-shirt mark that. You know, not my children. Right? The Truth Mitchell says, True pastor, an evil shrouded mist is casted on the nation because things clear as day is being pushed into the people without their permission and understanding. Glenda is saying the principal and teachers at PBC. Oh God, I ain't see it. You nearly make me think I ain't supposed to say. Yeah? A broken system will continue to cost lives. It's sad, but our families are more depressed and sad than 3 years ago. Yes, we did hear of an apparent hanging that took place today. I believe it's in the Frequente area. So we did hear of an apparent hanging that took place in that area today. And instead of negotiating for more, the Deacon administration sold them out. Yeah. So we're hearing the various stories there now from the people. Yeah? We're hearing the stories now from various people about what they think, about what the government, and somebody's asking here, Dr. Colette is asking, who is behind that bill? And referring here to the bill in relation to the change on age and so on, age of consent, and not age of consent, but age of civil responsibility. Who is behind that bill, the driving force behind that bill? Deacon is facilitating the beginning of the end. I ain't reading that part. Somebody writing some stuff there, I can't read that out. Dr. Colette say he wants to be Bish. Is he aware that Bish said when America sneezes, we catch the cold? And the thing is, folks, we have to be fair and we have to be honest here. When you hear what the Americans are saying, we may find in many instances that, yeah, there are, for some people, racist overtones, etc. in some of what is being said. But if we in Grenada were to see a bunch of people from Asia, I wouldn't point to any particular demographic, came into Grenada and started being disrespectful to us in Grenada, the first thing we'd want to do is call immigration, put them on a plane and kick them out. Wouldn't we? If they come and they start to say oil long is the worst food in the planet, and they start to say all kind of thing about Jab, and they start to say that Grenada are ugly and all kind of thing, the first thing we as Grenadians would want to do is put them on a plane and kick them out. So when you hear the US say, you're in the United States and you're bad talking the United States, so we're putting you out. Or, and this is not the case in all instances, we know very well it's not the case in all instances where there are people who have committed crimes and they are deported. And again, let me repeat again, that's not the situation at all. So you understand the thinking of many of the people who are behind some of these things. Yes, there are bigger things behind various aspects of it, but you understand some aspects of it. So when you want a down here playing that you is Maurice Bishop reincarnation, when you want to play like you trying to merge the spirit of Sir Eric Matthew Gary and Maurice Bishop, these are the kind of things that ends up happening. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Yes, Brother Sheldon, this is a quick one, okay?
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. So listen, when America driving at a nation or nations with regards to embargo, they're driving hard.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice to this hard-head government is that all of our resources that we have, like that health clinic that the New National Party had built in Guave, St. John.
The polyclinic, yeah.
The polyclinic. The Westerhall Medical Center, the Bellevue Medical, the one in Bellevue PD Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The one in Sotez, the complex there. I don't know how they're thinking, but what I could suggest to them, take back the money that they're going to spend on this teaching hospital, the lands, declare it farming area again, give back the farmers the land, and forget about this Mount Sinai because there's going to be an everlasting embargo on Grenada/United States. There'll be no traffic between America and Grenada, not as long as this embassy in office.
Mm-hmm.
So, how we could fix that? That $2 million a year, I think it is. Correct me. right? That we're going to be giving to Mount Sinai every year, which that we're not sure that anything would come to fruition. Why don't you, sir, Prime Minister and your team, divert the money to these clinics, the polyclinic, those in Carriacou, those in, and the same Cubans, doctors, and the Nigerians and whoever, those from Guinea, that are coming down.
Ghana.
Why don't they, Ghana, right? Why don't they spread them out and let us have an effective, big, international, if you want to call it so, health program where these same people would come in and use the supplies and so on in our country. So in other words, X out the Mount Sinai hospital. We're not showing them. We must sort in on the Cubans and on the Nigerians. That's my idea to you.
But you see, listen, when the meeting, when the Carriacou meeting took place in Jamaica,
right,
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was able to speak to the Americans in relation to the Cuban medical mission. Mia Motley was able to speak to them in relation to the Cuban medical mission. Have you seen their names on the list?
No.
In St. Vincent, you have probably, we don't say socialist these days, the word progressive is used. You have one of the most progressive, quote-unquote, prime ministers in the region in the person of Ralph Gonsalves. Did you see, in all the thing you're passing, you ever see St. Vincent name calling as one of the countries to get sanctioned or they're going to put thing on? You always see St. Vincent. You know why? Because Ralph Gonsalves, love him or hate him, understands diplomacy.
Yeah.
You could love him, you could hate him, you could like him, you could don't like him. He understands diplomacy. So while he would be friends with the various countries and so on, his country isn't ending up in the situation that Grenada is ending up in.
Well, serious, because listen to me, Brother Sheldon. When Morris Bishop was there was the president of the revolution in Grenada, and he went in Medgar Evans Medgar Center in the United States and made one of the most fundamental, most anti-American speech. Come on, right in the dome in the United States of America.
Well, I did see that speech up to recently. I saw that speech again.
Yes.
But the thing is, you have to understand diplomacy. And we have a group of people that don't even understand how to be diplomatic to their own people. They tell us they go talk to us when they want, when they're ready.
Morris Bishop understood that. So and they want to imitate Morris Bishop and his system? They could never do it. Never, ever. And the guys that with him, Ewart Lane and all of them who is cabinet, advisors, they need to advise Dickon that can't work.
I don't know if
not Dickon, the Prime Minister. Sorry.
I do not know if Mr. Lane is an advisor to cabinet. I have no information as such.
Oh well, it's alleged.
That might be an allegation, but I have no information of such.
Sorry, Mr. Lane. Sorry, Comrade Lane. Sorry. It's alleged.
Maybe he had to advise them.
Well, you have to advise them. In truth, I will help you advise them. All right. So have a good night.
Brother, thank you so very much.
I hope you're listening.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, indeed. So we found ourselves in this situation. I say ourselves because while the government is trying to isolate it, because you have the government officials who are trying to give you the impression that they are these big, brave people that facing down the United States and facing down the United States. You all just do not know how to speak to the people and who to speak to avoid these sort of situations. Because while it starts with the visas, it's going to fall into other areas as well that is going to affect the average Grenadian. The average Grenadian don't care if all you have a visa or don't have a visa. We don't really care about all you and that. We don't care. But what we care about are our family who have the green card in the United States and the fact that they may be placed under additional pressure and even lose their green card and have to return to Grenada. Our same families that are out there that support us in Grenada. we are worried that our children and ourselves, when we go and we apply and we put all the money together and we apply, paying the increased fees to go over to Barbados, paying the increased fees, because they increase the fees when you're doing a visa application, paying the increased fees and going over to do a visa application, only for them to turn us down because they find, now go back in Grenada and deal with all your government. All your government doing something we don't like, go back in Grenada and deal with all your government. Because our government wants to play like them is the big bargain. They think we in the year 1979 and you have the USSR there still. That is what it seems as though they think is that. That we in the early 1980s or the late 1970s and you have the USSR that you could lean on. If you can't lean this direction, that you could lean there. We are in the year 2025. Diplomacy is important. And maybe it's time to fire those who are supposed to be doing diplomacy on behalf of Grenada. Maybe it's time to change your foreign minister. Maybe it's time to change your ambassadors that you have placed in the United States. Because if they're there, and that kind of thing taking place, they ain't doing a proper job. Because I could tell you, under a new National Party administration, this would not have been an issue. Because the whole batting team would have knocked it for 6 runs. You look at the whole team that you had in government, and they definitely had the ability, the capability, and the contacts to deal with issues like these. And you know, even knowing that, the present administration wouldn't go to them and ask for help. They would not go to Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and say, Dr. Mitchell, we know you have contacts in Washington. We know you have contacts and so on that you can speak to. Can you work along with us to resolve this particular issue? They wouldn't go. Oliver Joseph was former Minister of Foreign Affairs. You had Brother Nicholas Steele. You had various people within the new National Party with the ability to address issues like this. You had Sister Clarice Modest. You had so many people within the new National Party. And of course, you have the present political leader. But they ain't going to her and say, we need your help. No. Leave it, let it get to a certain situation, and then come and stand up and say, we is the big badge and we stand up to America. Stand up to America where? You're crying. All of them now wondering, boy, well, but next thing I have my visa, I lose my visa. Lose it to my normal passport and I lose it to the diplomatic passport. Worried. That's the situation that they find. Remember, you also have the situation where when they start to apply the pressure, it is affecting your students studying in the United States as well. So our children who have left our shores and gone to the United States, this is going to affect them. Nobody cares if Deacon Mitchell or Philip Telesford or Claudette Joseph or these idiots I'll pull that one back. But these not too smart people lose their passport. Nobody ain't care. Lose their visa. We ain't care. Because you know under NDC, prime ministers does lose passport. So it's not if one lose a visa too, because it does lose prime ministers does lose their passport under NDC administrations. So if they lose their visa, it ain't gonna be nothing far from what take place before. But that's the thing. We understand that, yes, okay, the United States have announced this, but no, this is phase 1. There is many more to come. And listen, before I run out of time tonight, let me mention something to you. There is legislation being put forward in the United States at this point in time. That legislation is speaking about call centers. And it's saying to any companies that want to open call centers outside of the United States, they are going to face significant sanctions by the US government. They are going to lose the ability to receive any funding for 6 years from the US government. And they have to inform the US government that they're closing up operations in the US and opening the call centers outside. So those US companies that have call centers in Caribbean countries like Grenada, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Dominica, yeah, those companies that are US based that are operating there, they are in danger. And as such, it means many of the jobs that quite a bit of our young people are working in right now are also in danger. And you're speaking tens of thousands of jobs in the Caribbean region due to a law that is being pushed through at this point in time in the US. More unemployment on the way. But don't worry about that. Take grease and coals dust, put up what they call it, a posy on your head, and walk the road Juve morning with a dashing leaf. Don't worry about what is coming for the call center workers. Don't worry about what is happening to the families that are trying to go to the United States, be it for medical treatment, be it for vacation, be it for educational purposes, be it to just meet their loved ones. Don't worry about them. Put a posy on your head, rub your skin with the grease and the coals dust, put a dashing leaf over your head, and walk the road because you're trying to be Gaston Brong. Yeah, we know it's Gaston Brong. You're playing Gaston Brong, play a mass in Antigua Carnival, and we realize you watch that, you realize all of the positive comments that he was getting and so on, and you wanted to try and copy, but you know, he was moving with his wife, and we know in your case, you had to move with a dashing leaf, right? Because Gaston could have moved with your wife. You had to move with a dashing leaf. So we understand how the thing go, right? But you're trying to be Gaston Brown. So if you want to be Gaston Brown, well, maybe you could be Gaston Red instead. Or Gaston Yellow. But yeah, maybe he's Gaston Yellow. But he's definitely not Gaston Brown. Yeah? But he's trying his best. Nice? But these are the clear and present dangers that all people are facing. At a point in time that cost of living is in crisis in Grenada. There is a cost of living crisis in our country. What you spent last month in relation to groceries, you go and you realize the price keeping up and up and up, and by the time Christmas, you realize that $100, watch, the glasses man take off his glasses and he rub in the eye. That's what going on with a $100 bill right now, you know. The glasses man take off the glasses and he rub in the eye. He rub his head so much he ain't just a ball patch, you know. His whole head, all his hair gone. That is how bad it is right now with the cost of living in Grenada. And you see no effort being made by the administration to address these issues. Fresh fruits and vegetables continue to increase by significant margins. The price of them continue to increase, not the amount, you know. The price of them continue to increase by significant margins. Yet still you ask yourself, where is the new Marketing and National Importing Board? Where is the Ministry of Agriculture in relation to assisting farmers in increasing production and therefore driving down cost? Where is the price control? Because some people doing some kind of thing out there, boy. Watch. That's saying you pay $10 for one cucumber. Go ahead. Don't monitor what's going on out there. No. While that is taking place, it is more important to put on your grease, put on your coals dust, take your dashing leaf, and walk the road. Popularity contest is more important than people's ability to send their children to school in a couple weeks from now. Yeah? That is why it's important. Snap pictures. Take pictures, man. People could send their children to school with pictures. And then boast. Worry, I wouldn't see it. I ain't bothered with the rest of them. I wouldn't see it. Can't even manage your political party, but you're trying to manage our country? Cha. Folks, that is nearly all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. I really wanted to do tomorrow night, but I'm unable to do tomorrow night. So we'll be back on Monday night. And remember, on Monday night, we will be having the political leader. She will be on with us. The Honorable Emlyn Pear will be on with us on Monday on Talking Points. We're going to be speaking on quite a few issues. And if I think we'll even think, like the bill for the age of responsibility and the Marriage Act bill and these things alone, joke they making. If they think we're leaving it alone. And listen, while your friends and relatives here, we know they drew in and jump the plane and think tomorrow and so on. Yeah? Make sure they pass by Cami and they get some cocoa. I ain't forgetting Cami. No, they have to pass by Cami and get some cocoa and that kind of thing. And folks, finally, make sure that you check the voters list. The consolidated list of voters was put out. Check the voters list. Today is the 14th day of August in the year 2025. We do not know if the general elections may end up in September of 2025, October of 2025. We do not know because we do not hold the key. The key is held by the man with the dashing bush in his hand. Yeah? The key is held by him. And therefore, it is incumbent on us to make sure that we are ready at all times. So if you would like to assist, contact the New National Party headquarters and try to get involved. It is time for us, the time has long passed, for us to mobilize, energize, so that when the time comes, we can realize the victory that is certainly ours for the New National Party. Because you and I know Grenada cannot take an additional 5 years, not even an additional 6 months we want, much less to take an additional 5 years of the nothingness that exists as the National Democratic Congress government at this point in time. All show, blister and bluff, but in reality, when it comes down to the man and woman on the street, they are catching the royal cocoa pod out there. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. In everything that you say and you do, want you to stay safe and secure. Love each and every one of you. My name is Sheldon Scott. Don't worry, Javon around. My name is Sheldon Scott, and I am, do enjoy the rest of your night tonight. Love each and every one of you. Those of you traveling back to your various destinations, please do so safely. We wish you all God's mercy in wherever you're going to, that you reach there safely, and make sure that you're tuning in on Monday to Talking Points. You realize we get the audio sorted out, we have the video sorted out, we back in thing. All right, so we are out.
In my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it wasn't so, I would have told you. Oh, yeah. Walking in the footsteps of the Lord. I wake up in the morning, and before I eat my bread, brother man, I get on my knees and I give the praise. The day was not so moving, but before I go to bed, brother man, I get on my knees and I give the praise. Watch over, right? Jah Jah build my house. No man can